The Life and Crimes of Ted Bundy, an in-depth analysis. Welcome to our in-depth analysis of Ted Bundy, one of the most notorious serial killers in American history. His name has become a byword for deception, manipulation, and brutality. Over the next few minutes, we'll explore the complex tapestry of his life, a journey that takes us from his seemingly ordinary beginnings to the chilling crimes that captivated and horrified a nation. Through examining his upbringing, criminal activities, psychological profile, and the societal impact he left behind, we aim to provide a comprehensive understanding of how such a figure could emerge. This exploration is not just about revisiting dark chapters of history, but also about learning valuable lessons on the nature of evil and the importance of vigilance. Early life. Theodore Robert Cowell was born on November 24, 1946, in Burlington, Vermont. His early life was shrouded in secrecy and deception. Ted grew up believing that his grandparents were his parents and that his mother, Louise Cowell, was his older sister. This familial lie concealed the stigma of his illegitimate birth and set the stage for his complex identity struggles. Raised in a strict Methodist household, young Ted exhibited a fascination with knives and displayed early signs of detachment and antisocial behavior. Neighbors and family members recalled instances of his unusual actions, including episodes of animal cruelty. His relationship with his stepfather, Johnny Bundy, whom his mother married when Ted was 4, was distant, contributing to a sense of alienation within his own family. These early experiences may have sown the seeds of resentment and confusion that later manifested in his criminal behavior. Educational background and early adulthood. Bundy's adolescence was marked by academic ambition juxtaposed with social challenges. During his high school years in Tacoma, Washington, he was known to be intelligent yet struggled to fit in with his peers. In 1965, he enrolled at the University of Puget Sound before transferring to the University of Washington to study Chinese. It was here that he met Stephanie Brooks, a woman who would become a pivotal figure in his life. Their relationship blossomed, but after graduation, Stephanie ended the relationship due to Bundy's lack of direction and maturity. This rejection profoundly affected him, leading to a downward spiral. Determined to win her back, Bundy became more disciplined, re-enrolled in college, this time studying psychology, and even got accepted into law school. His outward transformation, however, masked the dark impulses that were beginning to surface. Emergence of criminal behavior. The early 1970s marked the beginning of Bundy's descent into criminality. His first known criminal activities involved burglaries and suspected assaults, though many incidents remain unconfirmed. It was during this period that women began disappearing in the Pacific Northwest. In 1974, the disappearances escalated, with several young women vanishing from college campuses in Washington and Oregon. Bundy's method was cunning. He often feigned injury, wearing a sling or cast to appear harmless while requesting assistance from unsuspecting victims. This ruse exploited the empathy of his targets, making it easier to abduct them. The escalation from petty crimes to violent assaults and murders was rapid, suggesting a calculated and deliberate shift in his behavior. Investigators noted similarities in the cases. The victims were young, attractive women with long hair, parted in the middle, a detail that hinted at Bundy's specific preferences. Despite the growing number of missing persons, the fragmented nature of law enforcement agencies at the time hindered the early detection of a serial perpetrator operating across state lines. Modus Operandi. Ted Bundy's modus operandi was as calculated as it was deceptive. He leveraged his charm and good looks to gain the trust of his victims. Often posing as an authority figure or feigning injury, he would ask for assistance, drawing his targets into vulnerable situations. His use of props, such as a fake cast or crutches, played on the goodwill of his victims who believed they were helping someone in need. Once isolated, Bundy would overpower them, leading to their abduction. Geographic mobility was also a hallmark of his crimes. He committed murders across multiple states, including Washington, Oregon, Utah, Colorado, and Florida. This interstate activity complicated efforts to link the crimes, as communication between law enforcement agencies was limited at the time. Bundy meticulously avoided leaving behind substantial forensic evidence, and his victim profile remained consistent, young women with similar physical characteristics. This pattern highlighted his strategic approach and deep-seated psychological drivers. Investigation and pursuit. As the number of missing women rose, law enforcement agencies began to see patterns emerging. However, the investigation faced significant challenges due to the lack of centralized databases and communication barriers between states. Witnesses reported sightings of a young man named Ted driving a Volkswagen Beetle, which became a critical lead. In 1975, Bundy was arrested in Utah on a traffic violation, and police found suspicious items in his car, including handcuffs and a ski mask. This arrest marked a turning point as investigators started piecing together evidence linking him to multiple crimes. Key witnesses identified him from police lineups, and his distinctive vehicle connected him to several abduction sites. Despite the mounting evidence, securing a conviction proved difficult due to the circumstantial nature of the proof and Bundy's own legal savvy. Trials and escapes. Ted Bundy's legal proceedings were as sensational as his crimes. His first trial took place in Utah for the kidnapping of Carol Duranch, one of the few victims who managed to escape. Convicted in 1976, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison. However, while extradited to Colorado to face charges for the murder of Karen Campbell, Bundy orchestrated his first escape by jumping from a courthouse library window. Recaptured after 8 days, he was placed in a facility with stricter security. Undeterred, Bundy escaped a second time in December 1977 by cutting a hole in the ceiling of his cell. This time, he fled to Florida, where he committed some of his most brutal attacks, including the infamous Chi Omega sorority house murders at Florida State University. Bundy chose to represent himself during his trials, exploiting his knowledge of the legal system and relishing the attention from the media. Notable courtroom moments included heated exchanges with prosecutors and dramatic self-questioning while on the stand. His behavior oscillated between charming and volatile, leaving many courtroom observers unsettled. In 1979, Bundy was convicted of the Florida murders and sentenced to death. The trials were among the first to be nationally televised, turning Bundy into a media sensation. His manipulation extended to the legal arena, where he attempted to delay his execution through appeals and by offering to confess to additional crimes. Media coverage and public reaction. The media played a significant role in shaping public perception of Ted Bundy. His good looks and charisma contrasted sharply with the heinousness of his crimes, creating a paradox that fascinated the public. News outlets extensively covered his trials, escapes, and eventual convictions, often emphasizing his intellect and demeanor. This coverage contributed to a phenomenon where Bundy received fan mail and marriage proposals while on death row. The sensationalism surrounding his case sparked debates about the nature of evil and the potential for a seemingly ordinary individual to commit extraordinary crimes. Public fear was palpable during his active years, particularly among young women who matched the profile of his victims. The extensive media attention also influenced legal proceedings, with concerns about finding impartial juries due to the widespread publicity. The case highlighted the media's power in influencing public opinion and the course of high-profile legal cases. Psychological analysis. Understanding Ted Bundy's psychological makeup has been the subject of extensive analysis. Psychologists and psychiatrists who examined him diagnosed Bundy with various personality disorders, including antisocial personality disorder and narcissistic personality disorder. His lack of empathy, manipulative behavior, and inability to form genuine emotional connections were characteristic traits. Bundy himself alternated between denying and admitting guilt, at times speaking about himself in the third person when discussing the murders. Experts suggest that his actions were driven by a need for power and control, possibly rooted in his tumultuous family background and early feelings of inadequacy. The compulsion to kill escalated over time, with Bundy describing a force that drove his actions. His intelligence and understanding of psychological manipulation allowed him to evade capture and exploit vulnerabilities in others. Additionally, some theories propose that Bundy's behavior was a means to exert dominance, possibly linked to his feelings of rejection and resentment towards women, stemming from his breakup with Stephanie Brooks and complex relationship with his mother. The study of Bundy's psyche has contributed significantly to the fields of criminal psychology and profiling, offering insights into the minds of serial offenders and aiding in the development of profiling techniques used today. Sentencing and execution. After exhausting his appeals, Ted Bundy faced execution on January 24, 1989. In the days leading up to his death, he confessed to over 30 homicides, though the true number remains unknown and is suspected to be much higher. His execution by electric chair was met with widespread public interest, with crowds gathering outside the prison, cheering and holding signs that read, "Burn Bundy, burn." The event was covered extensively by the media, marking the end of a legal saga that spanned over a decade. Bundy's death brought a sense of closure to many of the victims' families, though the scars left by his actions continue to affect lives to this day. His execution also reignited debates over the death penalty and its role in the justice system. Legacy and impact. Ted Bundy's case has had a lasting impact on law enforcement, forensic science, and popular culture. His crimes led to significant advancements in investigative techniques, including the development of more sophisticated profiling methods and improved interagency communication. The shocking nature of his actions has inspired numerous books, films, and documentaries, reflecting society's enduring fascination with the darker aspects of human behavior. Bundy's story serves as a cautionary tale about the potential for evil to hide behind a veneer of normalcy and charm. His legacy continues to influence discussions on capital punishment, mental health, and the methodologies employed in tracking serial offenders. Educational programs and training for law enforcement now often include studies of his case to better understand and prevent similar crimes. Conclusion. In reflecting on the life and crimes of Ted Bundy, we are confronted with the unsettling reality of his actions and their profound impact on society. His ability to blend in seamlessly while harboring sinister intentions challenges our perceptions of trust, intuition, and the facade individuals may present. Bundy's story underscores the importance of vigilance and the need for advances in forensic and psychological sciences to prevent future tragedies. It also highlights systemic issues within law enforcement at the time, such as the lack of interagency communication and data sharing, which allowed Bundy to evade capture for as long as he did. The exploration of his psyche offers valuable lessons in understanding criminal behavior, emphasizing the complex interplay between personal history, psychology, and societal factors. While Bundy himself is no longer a threat, the echoes of his deeds persist, reminding us of the capacity for darkness within humanity. By studying cases like his, we not only honor the memories of the victims, but also strengthen our resolve to recognize and combat such evil. Let us remember the importance of empathy, awareness, and the collective efforts required to ensure safety and justice for all. Through education and understanding, we can hope to prevent such atrocities in the future, fostering a society that is both informed and vigilant against the manifestations of such malevolence.